Welcome to the inaugural episode of Don't Call Me Solomon Grundy. I am Joel, and the sole reason of the existence of this podcast or platform is to say stop to just being on the surface and go deeper. And sorry for my language, F societal norms. It is a tale of Solomon Grundy, a man whose life is a mirror of our collective submission to societal expectations. We shall embark on an exploration of the tale that resonates with the monotony of life's routine. A tale that subtly reflects the lifelessness that too many of us accept as being inevitable. Today we shall deconstruct this narrative and challenge the status quo. Before we dive into the intricacies of Solomon Grundy's life, let me ask you this question. How often have you awoken to the feeling of existential inertia, that overwhelming sense that perhaps life is merely a sequence of predetermined steps: death, education, career, marriage, and death? And why do we acquiesce to this linear precisions without interrogation? As Fyodor Dostoevsky once observed, to live without hope is to cease to live. The narrative of Solomon Grundy is devoid of hope, of inspiration, of transcendence. It is a metaphor of the life many of us lead, predictable, hollow, and bereft of adventure. But today we shall uncover the path to escape this cycle of monotony, and I am here to remind you, you are destined for more than the faith of Solomon Grundy. Let us begin by acquainting ourselves with the infamous rhyme. Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, grew worse on Friday, died on Saturday, buried on Sunday. And that is the end of Solomon Grundy. Deceptively simple, isn't it? Yet, beneath the surface, this rhyme is laden with symbolism. It portrays a life that unfolds in lockstep with societal expectations. Solomon Grundy moves from one predetermined milestone to the next without deviation, without reflection, without purpose. But let me ask you, is this the entirety of life's offering? As Jordan Peterson insightfully remarked, the purpose of life is finding the largest burden that you can bear and burying it. But Solomon Grundy carries no burden. He is a passive participant in the grand spectacle of existence, drifting from birth to death, without ever grasping the realms of his own life. It is a passive acquiescence that we shall interrogate today. The notion that life by its nature demands more than a mere participation. It demands engagement, it demands risk, it demands the pursuit of meaning. Solomon Grundy is a metaphor for the life we led when we succumb to societal expectations or conformity. His existence is nothing more than the fulfillment of expectations. To be born, to be christened, to be married, to fall ill, to die. This unspoken tragedy is that Solomon Grundy never truly lived. He traverses the familiar path laid out before him, but does he ever question it? As Rousseau once stated, man is born free and everywhere he is in chains. And these chains are not merely physical. They are the inevitable filters of societal norms. The life of Solomon Grundy is a stake representation of the life we are told to lead: school, career, marriage, children, retirement, death. But here is the pivotal question. Do you truly want this? Imagine a different ending for Solomon Grundy. What if instead of succumbing to his illness and death, he broke free from constraints imposed upon him? What if rather than accepting the linear path, he sought adventure, knowledge, passion, risk? Dostoevsky observed the mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. And it is this something that eluded Solomon Grundy, and it is precisely this we must seek if we are to escape the shackles of mundanes. Let us now pivot to the crux of this matter. Why do so many of us persist in living life that mirrors Solomon Grundy's? Why do we conform so easily to the patterns that has been laid out for us? This is what Nietzsche is meant by he who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. So this quote speaks to the profound importance of discovering our own purpose, our own why. Without it, we are destined to live like Solomon Grundy, drifting through life without direction, without passion. Society offers us a simple formula. So complete your education, secure a stable job, marry and have children. But let me ask you this. How many people has followed this formula to the letter only to find themselves disillusioned, restless and even despairing? Anies Nin once proclaimed, life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. To live a life that defies the Solomon Grundy's narrative requires courage. The courage to defy societal expectations, to step into the unknown and to embrace the possibility of failure. It is in this space the willingness to risk that life truly expands. If you follow the beaten path, your world will be constructed. But if you are willing to venture into the wilderness of uncertainty, your life will become borderless. Now, I put this question to you. Are you living like Solomon Grundy? Are you simply trading the path laid out for you by society? Or are you daring to chart your own course? Why do we settle for life devoid of meaning? As Dostoevsky once said, the greatest happiness is to know the source of unhappiness, right? The source of our collective unhappiness is this. We live life that doesn't belong to us. We live life that has been scripted by others, not for us, but for themselves. The challenge before us is to break free from this script, to take control of our narrative and to live with intentions and purpose. And so, we've arrived at the heart of today's discussion, the call to live adventurously, to reject the life of Solomon Grundy, and to embrace the fullness of human existence. As Socrates so famously stated, the unexamined life is not worth living. To examine one's life is to question everything, to interrogate the choices we make, the path we follow, the dreams we forsake in favor of our safety. If Solomon Grundy had paused to examine his life, perhaps he would have found the courage to choose differently, and so you can. Kierkegaard reminds us that to dare is to lose one's footing momentarily. Not to dare is to lose oneself forever. So this is the essence of living adventurously, understanding that risk is not to be feared, but embraced. It is only by daring to lose our footing that we can find ourselves. As we conclude this first episode of Don't Call Me Solomon Grundy, I will leave you with this thought. Life is not a linear journey from birth to death. It is a tapestry rich with colors, textures, and complexity. You are not bound to the fate of Solomon Grundy. Next week, we shall dive into the notion of courage, how we culture it, how we harness it, how we use it to break free from the constraints of societal expectations. For as Jordan Peterson so elegantly stated, it is in responsibility that most people find the meaning that sustain them through life. But until then, I ask you to reflect. Are you more than Solomon Grundy? Hey, I'm extremely agog for those who actually stay to the end of my podcast. This is my first ever podcast and it's extremely crazy to actually do a podcast, and I'm extremely, recognizant of those who actually stay to the end, and I'm very grateful, and I want to continue this journey because the idea is, I don't have a doctorate or any of those kind. The idea is to share common sense. It's just to say common sense from what I've actually learned from life and stuff like that. So thank you for sticking to the end. Franchement, C'est incroyable que vous avez resté jusqu'au bout et je suis très reconnaissant.